当你想要很真诚的表达事情，该怎么说呢？今天跟大家分享一些句型来表达你的真诚。Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast。I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast. 我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast. Today, we want to talk about a trend that you can't go onto YouTube or any social media platform without seeing someone talking about this.
It's hashtag de-influencing. So 不知道大家有没有常用这些 TikTok? I think especially on TikTok, 你就会看到 hashtag de-influencing. 那这个部分呢，我们不会探讨太多，但是呢，我是觉得说，可能之前啊 social media influencer 这种网红，那我们所用的这个字 influencing 好像慢慢的它有一点点变成丑化了。So right now, people are crazy about this trend, meaning de-influencing, 也就是很诚实的去跟他们的 audience 来说，什么产品很烂，千万不要买。
Yeah, now...To be honest, this is not about like anti-social media. You may think influencer, someone who has like their following. So de-influencing is they're not putting importance on that anymore. But it's actually just a new way to advertise, to be really honest. It's just like before, everyone is obsessed with everything. Everyone cares about every bag that they've ever gotten from a sponsor. But now it's actually just more about being authentic.Exactly.
Now, so speaking of authentic, 那我们今天就要来讲一下，如果你很想表达自己很真诚，你在讲实话，你要该怎么讲呢？ So we're going to share some really easy phrases and sentences that you could use when you want to say something out of that honesty and authenticity. So speaking of honesty again, 第一个The first sentence or the first phrase you could say is in all honesty. 那这个部分我觉得大家可能已经常常听到了。So when you begin a sentence in all honesty, 对方就一定知道你现在要讲的就是很实话。
But this phrase you do have to be a bit careful with because it is something that people use to preface they're about to say something mean.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, that shirt does not look good.
Are you talking about me right now?
I am not.
就是那种丑话在前的那种感觉。
Yeah, so if you just go around saying in all honesty all the time, they're just going to be like, oh, here comes some angry. But let's say that you want to be more honest or more authentic. You want to kind of show people you're opening up about what you think or what you feel. Then you would use a phrase like, I'm going to put it all out there, which is just I'm going to show you everything.
Right. And I really like this because whenever anyone who's like trying to sell me something, but they immediately go, oh, I'm going to put it all out there. I talk about the pros, I talk about the cons. 那我就觉得这就是一种蛮真诚的方式来表达。
Yeah, you'll actually notice really good salespeople will do this.Kind of sell you all the benefits, but then they'll throw you a little hint that it sounds negative, but it makes you feel like, oh, this person's being really honest, right? So if they're like, okay, I'm going to put it all out there. If you're this kind of person, maybe you don't want to buy this.
Yeah.
Another phrase that we would use that's very similar, but it's more of a poker reference, but we use it all the time is, I'm going to lay my cards on the table.So this is the idea if you're playing poker or card game or even mahjong where you would just take everything and you would show the other person what you have, right? You're not hiding anything. You're not trying to trick them. You're just like, let me put everything so you can see it.
And I have a feeling that this is often used in a negotiation situation, right? 就是好像在谈判的这种时候，通常比较常会用到，因为有点是好像在跟对方讲说 我今天到底想要什么 You know, the money and all those little things that I'm asking for, I'm going to lay it all out on the table.
Right. So it's not like I'm holding back. And you can actually say you're holding cards for a negotiation. You're hiding something so that as soon as someone, wants to put something out there, you can trump them. You can put something above them. But when you're like, I'm laying my cards all on the table. There's nothing to hide. I have no tricks. Let's just talk about what we want.
And I like the next one a lot. At the risk of putting myself out there. I feel like I'm about to跟谁告白, like confession to make or say something that's really vulnerable. So I feel like in a situation where we want to be a little vulnerable, then you can say this at the risk of putting myself out there.
This is also something you might see as a negotiation technique where a salesperson be like, my boss is not going to like this, but at the risk, I'm going to I'm going to tell you everything that's true so you can make a better decision. Yeah. And again, this is about building loyalty. And in the nature of de-influencing before, it was that idea of like, can you trust this person anymore? Because they've just been selling. But then as soon as someone puts something where you feel they're being more authentic, then you're more likely to buy than someone who just talks only about good things.
And the next one, I think it's a little similar, which is I'm exposing myself a bit here. Exposing, 这个就是有一点点也是好像呈现很赤裸裸的自己, everything, here's what I have, you can see it all.
Yeah, sounds like it should be a physical thing. Yeah. I'm exposing myself, which please don't use it that way.
Yeah.
But when we talk about emotionally exposing yourself, let's think about a situation where you're with, let's say, the boss of your company. If he sits down and says, I really want to expose myself. You may think that they're usually very closed off. You don't know how they feel. You don't really know how they think. But when they're exposing themselves, you get to know them more as a person. So a lot of times people use this as a way to build trust or show honesty because it's like, I'm going to show you all my real emotion when I talk about this.
So the next one, I feel like I've seen this a lot on YouTube, on a lot of entertaining videos and stuff. It's I'll give you a look behind the scenes or behind the curtain.
This is that idea of we're not quite sure what's back there. So when you give someone a behind the scenes look, you're letting them see how everything works. So you even get in things like magic tricks. When people expose magic tricks and show you how it works, it just feels really good because this is the honesty thing. So when you explain to someone, be like, okay, I really want to kind of show you behind the curtain. I want to show you behind the scenes so you know how this really works. It tends to build trust with the other person.
尤其是我觉得如果我们想跟对方解释一下我们比如说公司我们是怎么样 operate 我们的 system 是怎么样通常可能对方不是非常了解 And before you actually walk them through all that, then you can say, I'll give you a look behind the scene.
Or the idea of giving someone all access. So you'll see this a lot on when Vogue does its 73 questions or someone lets a TV channel or a YouTube channel into their house, right? I'm showing you all access. I'm giving you all access. And then that's more, again, being very open, being very exposed. You can kind of see who they really are.
But I feel like all access is definitely used more in a tagline purposes, right? Do we say that a lot in conversation?
Conversation, not really. It maybe is a little bit more of a marketing ploy where it's just like you get an all access pass. It's just that feeling of you get to see everything that happens.
Yeah. 所以今天呢我们就提供给大家很多非常实用的一些片语还有句型。那 of course, everything it's in our show notes. Just click the link. You can get everything, all our handouts. And yeah, I hope you guys like our episode today.
We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.